All right, where is the money? Okay, there is a lot of folks who are reporting that they're having hard time in the past 18 months in this restoration space in this industry. And where's all the money at? Where did it go? Right? Actually, the interesting thing is the industry's actually been growing. Okay, it's growing and it's shifting, and it's really important to understand what's happening here because most people just feel like they don't know, and it's confusion and it's noise, and there's people silently taking advantage of what's going on, and they're actually growing right now. Okay, so I hate seeing people confused about stuff, because for me, when I'm confused about things, it's like frustrating. There's uncertainty, it's overwhelming, it's discouraging, and like I just hate that feeling myself. And so if I can maybe relieve some of that for you guys, then hey, that's me doing my part in this world. I believe that. Do unto others, right? So here you can kind of see, this is kind of funny to me, but a lot of guys, let's just take a quick step back to the past 20 years of this industry. They think like this was the simple math. You get a fan in a van, and that equals dollar signs. That's money, and that's all you need to get into this industry, right? Some DUs and a truck, and you're good to go. You're ready to rock. There's a low barrier to entry to this industry, right? And a lot of people are sold a pipe dream, like, man, you get a van, you can go and make $1 million a year from that one van, one technician, boom, boom. But then you get that van, you get some fans. You probably even get excited to get way more fans than you really need, and now you have a problem because you're going, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with marketing. I I got the fan in the van, but how do I get the job? How do I get these guys to start, you know, how do I make some money? I gotta pay for all this stuff now. And this is the problem, because now like the smart money, the smart business is being totally separated. These are the people who are growing right now. I talk to like business guys who actually get it, and they're like, I didn't have a bad year last year. And like we talked to hundreds of people, and they're like, yeah, I liquidated equipment and I sold, you know, off trucks, and I laid off my workers. And we've even talked to a lot of people. It's sad, and they're like, we've just gone out of business. Or we're on our last little bit of runway in our bank account. We're about to close our doors. It's insane. Okay, it's insane, and the good old days are gone. I don't mean to be so pessimistic and all of this. I'm excited for you guys watching this, because if you're watching this, then you're gonna get something out of this, and you're gonna see why it's so important to be different and do something different than the old way. The old way is you got a fan and a van, and you think you're going to get rich by just doing really basic stuff and not really getting creative. Okay. And then the smart money's, who's been in this industry, they're cranking right now, they're killing it. And then all of the private equity that's coming in, the reason they're coming in is because they see this opportunity, and they're killing it now too. So like, let me show you what they know and you don't, right? And is this simple down here? Okay. If nobody's ever told you what these things are, I'll explain them here. But you have customer acquisition cost. This is how much money you can spend to get a customer, right? Because guess what? If you're in business, you got to spend money to get somebody to become your customer. People don't just go, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know to call you because I just somehow know that I was just born into this world knowing to call you when I have this problem. No, you gotta get them to call you somehow. That's your customer acquisition cost through your marketing. You have to spend some money to get the phone to ring, right? Lifetime value. Now, lifetime value, this is how much money that customer's worth to you over the long haul. All right. So let's just for fun's sake, let's just say that you've got two businesses. The fan in the van guy, this is the guy who's just kind of getting smoked right now. And then you got the smart money, right? And the fan in the van guy always for some reason wants something flash in the pan sexy that's not realistic. And the smart money guy, he always gets the concept of the numbers, and they're the ones who win, and these guys keep getting scammed. the fan in the van guys keep getting scammed because they keep going after the shiny, like, guaranteed 30 jobs in 90 days, and some brand new AI technology that just delivers, leads to you out of thin air, and magical internet money that rains from the sky, and like just nonsense stuff. So if you're in there, if you're in this camp right now, I'm not trying to offend you. I genuinely just want you to have your eyes open so you can kind of get what is going on here, because you're getting smoked, and a lot of you guys are getting smoked right now, and it's not fun. I know. I've been smoked in business before. I'm not the smartest person, dude. I've been kicked in the face so many times I had to get wise because I had no other choice. So I'm just trying to, give you what I've had to learn along the way a little bit. So customer acquisition cost, how much money you're spending to get somebody to pay you money. Lifetime value. This is how much this guy's worth to you. Okay. Usually the guys who are, struggling right now, the game that they're playing is they're like, yeah, I can only spend about 20, let's give it a real number. Like, I can spend maybe like, 500 to $1,000 to like get a customer. Okay. Or maybe I can spend up to 2,000, depending on what part of the country you're in. Let's just put the number at 2,000. Okay. I can spend $2,000 to get a customer. All right. Because my customer is worth $10,000. That's a 5x return. And that's good for me. I'm profitable there. Okay. Some of you guys listen to that number and you're going, $2,000 to get a customer? That is crazy. I would never spend that much. This is why you're getting smoked. Okay. Customer acquisition costs. Now I'm talking, this is all kinds of different ways you can get customers. We're not going to talk about in that video. There's other videos here that talk about that stuff. But your lifetime value, let's say if you had a lifetime value of a customer that was $50,000, could you spend more? If your customer's worth more, could you spend more to get them? Yes, you can. Okay. You can spend more money to get somebody who's worth more money. All right. And this is the problem right now that a lot of people aren't catching on. They've been kind of capped into the good old day mindset of, oh yeah, things were real good, 10 years ago. And we've had ups and downs in this industry, but it's just down right now. We'll get back to it. No, the good old days are gone. They're not coming back. I'm very sorry to say. I've talked to the top consultants in this entire industry, and they're all saying the same thing right now. It's not just me being pessimistic. This is the state of the industry. So the problem is that the private equity companies in the smart money, they figured this out. They're going, oh man, these guys are capped out spending like $2,000 to acquire a customer because their customers aren't worth very much money to them. They haven't figured out the game of this business yet. And so what they do is they're going in and they're spending way more money, right? And this is why I always like the big franchises, not going to name any names. If you always go and look on Google, they're always spending way more money than anybody else because they figured this thing out here. They figured out what this is worth to them. They're playing a different game. They're not in the, I need to put $1 in today and get 10 back tomorrow. They're playing on a longer timeline because they have a lot more money and runway to play it. And the customers are just worth way more money to them, so they can spend more money than you, right? So let's say, this is a real life scenario. I'm seeing private equity companies all over the country right now. They're going in and they're paying plumbers $30,000 advances just to get the plumber to sign on with them to guarantee sending over all the work from then on out. And I looked at that. I was like, okay, that's very obvious to me. Why would they spend that much? Acquiring a lead source, not even a customer. They're acquiring somebody who's acquiring customers for $30,000. Okay, so they've done the math. They're like, okay, typically one customer to us, let's say, costs $2,000. All right, I'm going to go acquire this plumber for $30,000. That's 15 jobs, right? One plumber, if it's the right type of plumber, will give you way more than 15 jobs. Okay, and they realize, oh, the LTV on acquiring a plumber, the lifetime value is way more valuable than me just even going direct to trying to buy up customers through these other channels. So they're doubling down on referral relationships. They're going out there. I'm not being prescriptive here and telling you to go and pay referral fees and go and do this, because to be honest, in some areas it's shady. It's actually illegal in some areas. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what others are doing. That's all I'm saying here. And I'm saying that the smart money has figured out the true value of a lead, a referral source, of a customer, and they're willing to pay more than you. If you are only willing to pay $2,000 to acquire a customer because you can only afford, right? Like, I'll back the numbers down to make it really, really dumb simple right now. Okay. Two companies, one, their customer's worth $100. Company two, their customer's worth $1,000. Company A can only afford to spend maybe $20 to acquire a customer. Company B can afford to spend $200 to acquire a customer. Okay. Who do you think is going to win? The guy who can spend more to acquire a customer. If you can spend more money to acquire a customer profitably as a business than all of your competitors, you will beat them over time. That's the game that these guys are playing. Okay. You have to get creative with this. You have to do something different and be smarter. You can't just be doing the same old, same old, same old. All right. The guys that are winning right now, they're leveraging referral relationships. That's the main way that they're getting jobs. You know, I've interviewed a bunch of private equity companies, and they're all saying the same thing. They're saying, yeah, we want to buy restoration companies who have a strong network of referral relationships, because it is the highest ROI marketing channel that you can ever tap into in this industry. They get it, right? While everybody else is kind of like, there's a limited supply of leads that come through the internet, and like everybody's trying to go and spend money on Google and all this stuff to try to get this couple leads that come through there, and they're all fighting and they're jacking up the price on each other. It's just, which is crazy, right? And then you have the vast majority of the jobs in this industry flow through referral relationships, and people are, it's a wide open field with a lot of these categories right now. Some of them are competitive. Some you're going to walk into and you got to learn how to sell, right, to those different verticals. But there's a lot of them right now that are wide open, and the LTV is there, and it is a really smart play. If you're a business and you're interested in you know, building something like that out, kickstarting it, having us go and just front load, do the grunt work. We've got the systems, we got the process, I've got the team. You bring the ninjas in, we can go in there, we can start reaching out to plumbers, insurance agents, property managers, a bunch of other professionals. We'll sift through all the no's and the nonsense that's out there, all the time wasting stuff, and we'll hand you on a platter. We'll hand you people who have now said, yeah, I'm interested in talking about a referral relationship, or yeah, show up to my office tomorrow at noon and bring donuts or whatever. Like, we'll bring you those guys so that you can be productive, right? So that, you know, you can actually kickstart this really quickly. And it's proven, because we've done this with over 200 restoration companies now. So like, we're not just kind of, you know, it's like if you went out and hired a business development rep to go do this, like, maybe he's done it in this industry before, maybe he hasn't. You gotta like manage him, make sure he's actually using his time well, and all. Like, dude, we do this for a bunch of companies already. We already know how to do this. We're cold calling over 50,000 plumbers a month right now. Okay, like, we figured this thing out. So you're not kind of just like hoping and praying and like maybe it works out with somebody. Like, if anybody can do it, it's us, because we've done it so much. We've done it. I'll say that my team's called more plumbers than anybody else in this entire industry. There's no way. I have no idea who's called more than us, right? So we figured it out. We can help you, and we'd love to have a conversation if your territory is open to see if we can't help you, you know, max out the referral network. So thanks for watching, and God bless.